My project is called Indigenous Visualities of Climate Crisis. My research looks at the climate crisis and environmental degradation, and specifically at their impact on indigenous cultural heritage. The climate crisis, which is a global phenomenon, affects indigenous communities in South and Southeast Asia in a number of ways. In Bangladesh and Vietnam, I worked in river landscapes, and the participants dealt with salinity of water, with extreme weather events. In Cambodia, the indigenous communities that I've collaborated with have forest-based livelihoods, and the major problem they're facing is deforestation. These major disruption in their livelihoods means that they're losing access to resources, that traditional knowledge does not apply anymore. They have to abandon their traditional livelihoods. The project is centered on a method that I've designed called community digital storytelling, where in a workshop space, facilitators, communities, and myself work on making stories that reflect the issues and the socio-ecological challenges that these communities face. I have chosen smartphone filmmaking because this gives an opportunity to communities to use assets they already have, their smartphones, and the different levels of existing literacy in the communities to create stories the way they see fit and with content they choose themselves. It is very important in my research that the communities have complete creative control over the process. They design the stories based on their needs and not based on a pre-existing agenda. In my most recent field trip to Cambodia, I worked with Punong people, and some of the participants were rangers, forest rangers, who wanted to learn how to make films and use them in their activism in the way they protect their forests. Through this creative journey, I've noticed that the participants want to not only write their stories, but they want to visualize them. Depending on the country, each set of videos has a different afterlife. In Bangladesh, they have been shared with policymakers locally, but also nationally. In Cambodia, we had the opportunity to connect the participants with different activist groups. At the moment, I have a collection of 48 short films from 3 different countries. I plan to create a platform where the videos will be uploaded, and also we'll have additional places where all the necessary information for filming and editing and replicating the process without the need of my research team. Collecting indigenous stories from a diverse region is groundbreaking, not only because we have a multivocal experiment from communities that have never been brought together, but because we also collect a lot of local knowledge which is necessary for fighting the climate crisis. We understand how these communities adapt to the climate crisis, how they understand sustainability, what are the sustainable practices they have been following for centuries. My work contributes to the ongoing efforts of indigenous communities in the region to preserve their cultures by creating a record of endangered cultural practices, but also collecting testimonies of a world that is changing, something that is knowledge on its own.